Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing really well today. I'm so excited to be filming again today and to get to do this Sephora haul because I picked up a good number of really kind of pricey items, really awesome items, so I want to show you guys all of them. I haven't used everything. I'll tell you about each item, whether or not I've used it, and if I have any first impressions if I have used it here in a minute. But I guess I'll just go ahead and start with the things that I got from Hourglass. So I picked up two of the new Hourglass ambient lighting blushes, and I picked them up in the shades Diffused Heat, which is sort of a corally color, and let me see if I can swatch it for you guys on my hand. Right there. That's what it looks like, if the light can pick that up properly. And then I also got it in Mood Exposure. There were a couple of shades that were really, really light and didn't have a lot of pigmentation, but these two, that's Mood Exposure. These two seem to have an awful lot of pigmentation, so I think that they would be really great for people who have definitely medium skin for sure, and tan skin I would say Diffused Heat will be great for, and Mood Exposure will probably show up, but it might be a little bit too light for you if you have tan skin, so you may want to swatch that or try it on in the store or something before you purchase it. Overall, I expected them to be more of an obvious sort of glow. Like, I really love blushes that they have plenty of pigmentation. I don't have to really build it up. I mean, it's easy to apply them, but they sort of just, I don't know, diffuse out to nothing, and they just look really glowy without looking shimmery on your face or too much glow, just a healthy glow. And I would say that these are kind of a little bit more subtle than that. They're a little bit more subtle than what I was expecting. They almost look like a matte finish, but without looking that dryness of a matte finish on your face. That's my first impression on them, at least. And I will also say that Mood Exposure, that one is very similar to Benefit Rockateur. When I swatched both of them next to each other in Sephora, they looked almost identical on my hand, although I want to say that Rockateur is just maybe a slight bit more pink, whereas Mood Exposure is maybe a slight bit more brown. But otherwise, they're really similar, and actually Mood Exposure is a great alternative to Rockateur, which I'm thinking I would recommend over Rockateur, because Rockateur, while I love the color of it and I really enjoy it, it's actually a lot less product for the same price of all the other Benefit blushes. And I find that Mood Exposure has a lot better pigmentation, so I think it would last an awful lot longer than Rockateur. I've heard a lot of people comment on the fact that Rockateur, they've gone through it pretty quickly, and this just seems like a lot more pigmentation in it. So anyway, I picked up those two blushes, and kind of to go with them, I picked up the Hourglass number 2 foundation and blush brush, and it's about this size on the cheek. It's just a really soft brush, really nice, like all of Hourglass's brushes. And I also finally went for the plunge on getting the Ambient Lighting Power in Radiant Light. The reason why I wanted to get this is because I have this in the little Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette, and I keep reaching for it like day after day, and it's getting smaller, and I wanted to be able to use that still as a palette instead of just use up all of that one color. I like the fact that it has all 3 colors that it has in it, and so I wanted to just get a full size, so day after day I'll reach for it in here, and then I can keep that palette for when I want to travel or use like all 3 in conjunction with each other. So I also picked up a YSL Glossy Stain in number 9. This is one of their most popular ones. I'm actually not going to swatch it for you on my hand because I'm actually wearing it today on my lips. So it is pretty much just I would say it's a very, very standard red. I think it's one of their very most popular colors of the Glossy Stain. So I actually had purchased only one other of the Glossy Stains ever before, and that was number 7, and it looks like this. And when I first got it, I don't know why it was, but I tried it on one time and I just didn't like it. I can't remember. I think I felt like it was drying maybe, and I just didn't like how it felt, and I didn't think it lasted that long, and I don't know why I felt that way, but I decided to pull it out again recently, and I loved it so much. I haven't found it drying at all. I've used it a ton lately. I've also used number 9 a few times, and I don't feel like it's drying either. I've heard some people say that they think the Glossy Stains are really drying, but I would just say I recommend definitely put 2 coats. If you put 2 coats of it on, then I feel like it lasts a really long time and feels comfortable. Marc Jacobs has some new concealers. or fairly new. He came out with a new foundation, and then there's a new concealer that are both fairly new. And the foundation, or the concealer, is what I picked up. I picked it up in number 2, Alive, and it's a very thick cream that's kind of a cream to powder consistency. It looks very full coverage, so it doesn't look sheer at all on the skin. It's pretty opaque, and the coolest thing that I picked up to go with it is the conceal brush. It's just called the conceal brush, and it looks like this, and I thought it was really, really unique. You know how I am with brushes. I just love them. So it's slanted, and it's very, very soft on the tip, and the way I like to use it is to take concealer and do like a stippling kind of motion, and it just does such a nice job. I mean, usually if they're this kind of fiber, like a duo fiber that's really soft, they're rounded on the tip and not flat like this, and I just love how this has been applying my concealer. I've only used it with a couple concealers so far. I think it works really great with the Marc Jacobs one, and I also use it with my Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer underneath my eyes, and I feel like this concealer brush allows you to have a really great, even, full coverage application of your concealer without having any kind of streaking or anything like that. So I recommend using this concealer. So far anyway, my impression is to use it with a full coverage foundation. I think it will look like it blends in really nicely with a full coverage foundation. Sephora, I guess it's called the Airbrush Foundation, Perfection Mist Airbrush Foundation. And this is another fairly new product that Sephora came out with. It's being compared to the Dior Air Flash Foundation, which I have, and I've used this and I've used that, and I wouldn't really compare them very much to each other. I don't feel like they have the same kind of finish. This Sephora one has a very, very matte finish. I'm actually wearing it today. I don't know if you can tell that it's matte because I have the lighting, and I'm also wearing the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Radiant Light, which kind of gives it a really nice glow. So I'll keep you guys updated on this. So far it hasn't broken me out, which is a great thing. It might be slightly drying just because it is matte. So if you have very dry skin, I might stay away from this, but otherwise I think you would probably be fine with it. And it was only $26 instead of like $60, so I thought that was really awesome. In any case, moving right along, because I've got lots of other things to talk about, I picked up the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, and it just, at first I wasn't going to get this, but then the more I looked at it, the more it really stood out to me. And the thing I really like about it too is, of course, the fact that it smells like chocolate, and I don't really care for the smell of the Chocolate Soleil bronzer, but to me this smells like chocolate, and to me the Chocolate Soleil bronzer, it smells like imitation chocolate. I don't know. I just love the smell of this. When you actually are putting it on your eyes, you're like smelling chocolate. I just think it's so cool. There's a lot of really great basic shades, so I plan on trying this out more though. I've only used it a couple of times and letting you know more about it, especially if you guys request for me to do a review or something. I'd be happy to do that. I also picked up, and this was something I really wanted for a long time, the Tarte Be Magnificent little palette. And this one, I thought it might look really cheesy online, the front of it. You know, it's like this faux, like geode kind of look. It's like a rock, you know, that's cut, sliced. And in person it actually looks really pretty. It doesn't look so cheesy or anything. I think it looks nice. And there's a nice big mirror in there. And another thing that I noticed that I felt like was different than when I looked at it online was that the brush is a lot tinier in person than I thought it was going to be. And other than that, I really haven't used this palette much. I used it a couple of times, and I did notice that when I was using all of the different colors that they blended really nicely, similar to my Urban Decay Naked Basics palette, so I was really happy with that. I also, in the little sales section, you guys should check out your sales section at your Sephora because I picked up something really pretty. It was the Cinderella from the Disney Princess Collection, the little tiny palette, and this was really cheap. I think it was like maybe, honestly, I can't remember. It was like 7 or 8 or 10 or something like that. But this was the one little quad that they made that I thought was really pretty, and I never was able to find it. And I swatched the colors and I thought they were all really nice. I'm sure you guys can easily find reviews about this, but I was just really happy to pick that up because I was all about that collection. I thought the Cinderella stuff was so elegant and gorgeous. I also found online on sale this travel brush. And I already have one of these. Actually, I have two. I I have like another backup one, and then I have this, and I might be giving these as gifts to people in the future, family members, relatives, I don't know, because I found that this little travel brush that Sephora makes is just the nicest little travel brush. It feels great when you cleanse, and I just find that my hair that's very thick, it gets all the way to my scalp, and it feels like you can control it really well. It's just a little bit tinier than a normal size brush, and I just really, really love this for my purse. So I picked up another one of those because they were on sale for like $7, and I think they're regularly $15 or something like that. So I recommend you guys always, I've seen a couple of those with different finishes, like this one's purple, the other one I have is gray, and I've seen a couple of other colors. Apparently they update the colors every so often and then they go on sale. So I would check online whenever you see them go on there. You might be interested on picking one up because I think it's a great travel brush. I also picked up the new Urban Decay, their new lip gloss that they came out with, and I picked this up in the shade Nooner. And I swatched them all in the store, and I thought that this one was going to have a lot of good pigmentation for just kind of a nude pink. And that's what it looks like when I build it up on my hand. So, however, I was a little disappointed when it got on my lips. It pretty much shears out. You can see a little tiny bit of color, but there's really not a lot on the lips. And my other first impression of it is it's a very comfortable feeling gloss. It seems to last a good amount of time for a comfortable one that's not sticky. But for me personally, as of now, unless something changes in the future when I continue to use it, it doesn't seem special enough for me to pay $22 for, because I think these are $22. I think that's an awful lot for a lip gloss. So I don't know. I'm going to keep using it and everything, but that's my first impression on it anyway. I also, from NARS, I picked up a duo that is one of their new duos that's on like the new display, and it is called Kauai. So like the island in Hawaii, and this shade right here is why I picked it up specifically. It is, I don't know if this is gonna, it is so pretty. I don't know exactly how to describe it. It's like a silvery color that's almost got a little tone of light green or gold to it. It's just so pretty and so sparkly and really, really buttery and just everything that you would want. I just thought it was unique. I didn't have anything like it, so I wanted to pick that up. And then another thing that I would note is that the purple that's next to it looks super bright and pigmented, and when I've worn it in eye looks, it looks a lot more wearable than it looks in the container when I actually put it on. It's not nearly as bright looking. It's not like a big pop of purple, it's just kind of more subtle when I actually have worn it in eye looks. Anyway, that concludes this massive Sephora haul. It was a really expensive haul, lots of really pricey items, lots of palettes and things like that. So anyway, thank you guys for sticking with me. If you have any questions or comments about any of the products, or maybe if you have them and you have information that you want to share with everybody about them, whether or not you like them or don't like them or whatever, please feel free to comment below. And of course you can always reach me as well on Twitter and Instagram. It's just Beauty Mozart on both of those places. I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!